This is the Healthy Business Podcast, the show for ambitious business owners who want to grow and scale in a healthy way. I'm Sarah Cook, and I'll be sharing with you tips, inspiration, and proven methods from leading business experts, entrepreneurs, and health and wellness professionals to help you grow your business with more income and having more impact, but in a way that works for you. Because when you have clarity and strategy, you can achieve the results you want. Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Healthy Business Podcast. I am joined by a wonderful guest today, and I'm really excited to be talking to Andrea Rohonova, and we're going to be delving into some really powerful strategies on how you can gain optimum strength and energy so that you can reach peak performance in the workspace. And this is something close to my heart, as many of you listeners know. So Andrea, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me. Welcome, everyone.
Oh, so good to have you. I'm really excited about this topic and taking your stance on things as well, because I think we're all so individual. We all have such different meanings as what health looks like for us, and we have different things going on in our lives as well. So making sure that our self-care is a priority is really important as business owners, that we can then thrive in the ways that we want to. So I'm looking forward to where our conversation goes. Before we delve into that, there's one question that my listeners know that I always ask all of my guests on this show, and that is, what does a healthy business mean to you? So I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so healthy business, it's a big one, yeah? And I believe that healthy business is behind the person. So if I see the person who is fit, who is strong, who is energetic, vibrant, who has a vibe, the proper vibe that can take the masses with them, and it's almost electric. So that's the person with successful business for me as well, because this person normally has time for everything, time for family, for kids, for relationships, time for himself or herself, for the well-being. And then when she and this person is shining in these areas of life, business must be successful, profitable, and really fulfilled.
Love that. That's kind of just thriving in all areas, isn't it?
Yes.
Definitely. And I know that's something that so many people to aspire to, but often feels like the holy grail and so hard to achieve. And especially if you're kind of in the early stages of your business and you're, juggling everything, or even at the highest, whatever level you're kind of moving through, there's always something new that throws in, or there's always something extra that you want to learn or add into the business or optimize within your business. How on earth do people do that? And, looking at those people who are aspirational, I know boundaries for me are something that's really, really important. I know the things that I need to do to kind of, I suppose, have the energy to show up in the ways that I do in all parts of my life and business. But how do people start? Let's start with that. How do people start?
Yeah, for some people, it's a big struggle, as you said, because there is so many things to do. And the last thing on their list is themselves. Like, they put themselves always at the bottom.
Yeah.
And many times they don't realize, if they are not strong, fit, and healthy enough, then they can't run the business properly, because they suffer on some kind of level, either with their health or with their energy or with anything else. So what we do with these clients, and especially these high ambitious people, because it's them who are always busy, we are trying to introduce to them habits. And these are very simple habits which normally take very short time, but they are so powerful that when you are able to repeat them regularly, you will achieve your results. And then when you can do them, suddenly everything is going to be better in your business. You will be less busy and you will feel much better for yourself as well.
That's amazing, isn't it? And I think it's something that people do misunderstand in that way, that actually, we all know we should be healthy. We all know we should be doing exercise. We all know we should be eating, healthy foods, all that kind of stuff. But the reality is that when life gets busy, we tend to go for the quick fixes. We tend to, make quick decisions that give us that short burst of energy. And I was very, very guilty of this until I realized the impact of it on everything else. And I think when we can kind of flip that into, actually, if I look after myself, that's actually going to skyrocket my business in the ways that I want it to. And I saw this so much during the pandemic, where people were pushing so far and so hard for results. And actually, we could have got there a lot quicker, a lot easier, much more enjoyable if we'd have put ourselves first. And that, especially for women, can sometimes feel quite, if we feel quite guilty, we feel like we need to apologize, all these kind of feelings come up for us. How would you recommend people if they're starting to go, yeah, I know that I need to do self-care, I know I need to look after myself, but the reality is I just don't have time? How would you challenge that, or how would you help people kind of find that time?
That's a really good question. Yeah. And that's what all the people come to me with. Yes, how to. And simply, literally, you want to schedule those things in and you want to make them realistic. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, you don't want to, for example, let's take the movement. Yeah. You want to have movement in your life, and you have to move because your body is natural to move from the birth, yeah, but you don't have time to go excuse me, you don't have the time to go to the gym for 1 hour, and then you feel, oh yeah, I don't have time. So now, for example, with this movement, you don't have to go to the gym for 1 hour. It's much better to go, for example, to your garden and do some little exercises in your garden in the fresh air, or maybe do 1 lap around the block. It depends how much time you have. And everybody has between 5 to 15 minutes a day to do their movement. So that's how we start in regards with the movements. So we find the activities which person enjoys. That's the important thing. We don't push that person to do something what that person hates. For example, you hate running, so I will not tell you go for a run for 15 minutes because it's something what you don't enjoy and it will not bring anything to you. You will just be more exhausted. You will be maybe lethargic. You will be running out of the breath, and it's not going to help you. Yeah. So we choose the activity which you really love. For example, ladies love dancing. Yeah, you don't have too much time to go to dance clubs or dance classes. What you can do, you put your favorite music on, and for this music you just go wild. Nobody sees you, you are in your room and you stand up from your laptop, whatever work you are doing, and for, it's how long is one song, maybe 3 minutes, yeah, and you just go and you do it. Suddenly what happens, you feel all the endorphins coming to you, you have a new energy, new vibe, and you are becoming more creative. Suddenly you finish your task much faster and you feel more fulfilled. So that's around the movement. What I want to say is that doesn't have to be same for everyone. Just choose the activity which you love and do it, and make sure you do it regularly. For example, if you like the dancing, go and dance every day. Have some time, for example. What's the best thing as well is to connect it to something what you already do. For example, you are having your clients meetings like this, yeah, every hour. For one client at 9, another at 10, then don't book another client at 11, but maybe book for 11:30, and this will be your time to do your quick movement, quick exercise, and to come back to next client so much more energetic. So linking it, habit and the movement, habit what you already do, link it to it, you will never forget and you will keep consistent with it. So as simple as that with the movement.
Amazing. And I think that's it, isn't it? It's just finding those little pockets of time, taking that pressure off you. The power of a kitchen disco to shift energy, to shift, even just that creative headspace is amazing. And I always think about it with those, the five senses. Like if we can do something around that, and movement is obviously one of those big things. Plus you're throwing in the sound, that kind of thing as well. It just, not only is just the movement so good for us, but actually that change in state, that change in environment, nothing beats a kitchen disco.
Exactly. Yes. And then another thing with the movement, if you add this kind of little movements few times a day, suddenly you can accumulate to an hour. So you don't have to spend an hour in the gym. You can do your dance. You can go outside for a little walk while you are listening to podcasts, which I always do. And I love Sarah's podcast. They're amazing. Or whatever you really like. You can go out to the local park, anything, every single thing counts. Just don't sit all the time. For example, even standing stations are very important. For example, if your job is always sedentary, it's good to have a standing station. When you change the positions maybe every half an hour, again, you are being active, you change and switch the transformation in your brain, and you start working differently from different angle.
So good. Such good advice. And really easy to implement, hopefully, of just, just those little moments, that actually the difference that it can make is huge, not just to you, but to how you feel, but to your business. And a couple of words that kind of came out for me was, it gives you more energy, it helps you be more creative, it helps you be more productive. So we all want that within our business. We've all got time limitations with whatever else is going on in our lives, and actually we need to be as efficient as possible when we are working, and as effective as possible. And what you've suggested there really helps do that. We've talked about movement a little bit. Talk to us a little bit around the kind of energy or recovery kind of pieces as well, because I know you have three pillars that are super important when you're
Yeah, we
looking at
have
this.
three things. So first one was the movement. I think that was pretty like straightforward. Everybody can get to it. Then second thing is nutrition. Yeah. So when you move, your body needs to move. You know that because we were born like that we want to move. Our muscles, they need to move. They are movable things. The second thing is when you move, you need to feed your body right fuel. Yeah. If you imagine, for example, car, and you take gas instead of the petrol, so it will not work. Yeah. So same your bodies. If you feed it with the correct food, it will be more efficient, more productive, more alert. If you feed it with the things which you grab on the go, which are high in sugar, or for example, too fatty and anything else, you will not be that efficient. You will be actually tired. Yeah, it will make you tired. It will make you sleep. So you want to make a good choice again. And here, what is a really simple thing what you can do in a very short time, because again it might come with all the excuses like I don't have time to cook, I don't have time to prepare a meal for such a long time, and 3 meals a day, for example. Yeah, so it might be struggle, especially if you are a mom with a couple of kids as well, so it might be tough. Another thing which you can remember, which is super easy to implement, will be eat clean. And what does that mean? Clean means everything what comes from nature. So if you can pick it into nature, that's the good meal, yeah? That's the good food. If you find it somewhere in the freezer or on the shelves in the shop, which is processed and packaged, that's another good meal, yeah? And if you just follow this rule, suddenly you will open your mind and you will realize what is good for you and what is not good for you. So as simple as that. And then you put a couple of them together. When I cook, normally my cooking lasts about 10-15 minutes, because what I do, I normally stir fry some vegetables and I put some pieces of chicken into it, which is like a really good meal, and it's healthy, it is balanced, and it fills you up and you feel really like energetic afterwards. So nothing like special, no magic, very simple, very easy, and short time again.
I love that. And I'm all about keeping things simple. It's so important, especially when, we are juggling so many different things, and, pardon the pun when we're talking about nutrition, but spinning so many plates. And it is literally like that, especially if you're, cooking for family, cooking for, 3 times a day, that feels quite a lot, doesn't it? Especially when we're trying to run businesses and things. One thing I love to do is batch cooking,
Yeah,
and just
it's
having that there.
amazing.
What, give us some. So one of the things that I always hear is that it's that kind of mid-afternoon slump that people just kind of go, oh, I just need that kind of quick pick me up, or whatever I'm having, I just feel that kind of mid-afternoon energy boost is needed. What how do you recommend people kind of get over that, that's going to help them through the rest of their day work-wise?
Wow, this is a brilliant question. And that's what I exactly do with my Facebook group. I have Facebook group for this. And what we do exercise. We do a little bit of mobility, a little bit of stretching. Or if somebody is suffering some pain, for example, neck pain after a long work on computer, or back pain. So we focus on those areas. And normally it takes, again, 10 to 15 minutes. We focus on specific part. And just after breathing, because breath is big one, we start with breathing and then we add some movement, people feel straight away energetic and they can carry on. So that's what we swapped for snacks, because normally when people are tired, they go for another coffee or another snack. And what we do it with exercise, starting with breathing and then mobility, all focusing on specific pain point, which is literally neck or lower back most of the time after working long hours in the office or sitting behind the laptop.
Oh, I love that. So if you're feeling like you're kind of needing that food energy, rather than you going straight for whatever cupboard it is within the kitchen, add that movement, swap it over, and then see if you feel hungry after that. That's such a great idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because what happens
Boost the
normally,
endorphins.
it's comforting yourself when you feel tired. That's especially the typical thing. When you feel
Mhm.
tired, you feel, oh, I need to eat something because then I will feel energetic. Many times you need to eat again because you feel still tired, or you need to take another coffee because it didn't help. It doesn't fix the problem. It, I think, only increases it and prolongs it.
Yeah.
So what's much better thing is really to just do some stretches. Again, it doesn't have to take too much. You just stand up, grab your arm, stretch to one side, stretch to the other side, or simply sit and breathe or lie down on your mat or on your bed or wherever you are on the floor and just breathe. Nasal breathing is amazing. Or another thing, just going out and do one lap around the block. My God, you will come so much refreshed. You will forget about eating, because normally when you feel hungry, the hunger goes in 20 minutes. Like if you do some activity and you interrupt it with something else, so for example, you feel you're hungry, and then instead of going and grabbing for some snack, which is full of sugar, you just go outside for 5 minutes, you will forget that you wanted to eat before. You will completely interrupt that thinking of the brain that you were hungry.
Such a good idea. This is just bringing up so many memories of when I was at university and I was revising for my exams. And I ended up using exercise as a reason to, like, every single time I just needed a break, which was quite often because I remembered this one module that I was revising for and it just being so boring. Um, and I would kind of set myself a timer and I'd do my work, and my reward was going for a run around the block, or I'd do, like, I don't know, 50 sit-ups or something like that, just to kind of break that monotony of sitting in front of a desk and knowing that I had to revise for a full day. And I think this is a really good tip because we all have stuff that we don't enjoy in our businesses. We all do. As much as we would love to say, I love every single part of it, when we're holding and wearing so many different hats of our business owner life, there are things that we have to do that we don't necessarily enjoy doing. So shifting it up, giving yourself that reward at a certain time, whether it's setting an alarm or whatever, it doesn't have to be going for a run around the block like I've just given that example, but giving yourself that reward that gives you energy rather than gives you that short, sharp spike of energy and then drops you way back down again is so much more beneficial. Plus, as we were saying earlier, you're much more productive. Like, you get through that stuff that you're not enjoying much quicker. You're much more efficient in it as well. So I love that idea. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, so brilliant. You can do all of them. Perfect. And how did you feel with your studies after your short breaks? What was the feeling when you finished after your small run, when you started studying again? How did you feel? How was it?
So what's really interesting, and I find this because I love my exercise anyway, but my exercise is my thinking time. So it ended up being a way of really solidifying what I was learning, even if it was just kind of a quick 10 minutes, just rather than just that constant working, just taking that break and then just kind of going back over that in my mind. You're kind of doing it on autopilot, I think, rather than focusing on the exercise. It was more around, it's still part of that revision space. But yeah, it's something that I kind of, definitely recommend for people to do. And I think it's just finding what works for you in a way that works for you. And, different times of day are going to be needing for having those energy boosts for different people. So yeah, I think awareness is that key piece, isn't it?
Exactly. And for example, my one is like, I go cycling, I take my bicycle and I go outside just again for a short time. And when I come back, I'm just boosting with the ideas. I was stuck at something, at some kind of task. And I was just, okay, it's enough, let's go. So I just go out. And while I'm cycling and moving, my brain is working and it's giving me all the tips and ideas what to do
Yeah.
next. While if I was sitting and carrying on with the task, it would never happen. So it's a massive like pattern interrupt into the action what you are doing, and you come back so much more refreshed.
So true. And there was something that I heard at the weekend around, actually, overwhelm isn't when we have too many things to do, it's when we have too many things to do without a plan. And I think when we have that time and we give ourselves that time to have that headspace, we can actually create that plan, or it doesn't feel so overwhelming. I know what I'm hearing so much from people at the moment is they're just so busy. They don't have the time. They feel really overwhelmed, and that feels quite stressful. if we can find those ways, whether it's the cycling, whatever kind of thing it is, even just a mini movement, eating the right foods, that can take you into a space of reducing the overwhelm. Because actually, by going and doing that and looking after yourself, that headspace is created for you to then reduce that stress, reduce that overwhelm. And I think, yeah, just flipping things rather than going, I haven't got time to do exercise, I haven't got time to take even 10 minutes out. Actually, if you do take that 10 minutes out, you're probably going to have that clear plan because you've given yourself that space and that thinking time without you even realizing it. So yeah, I'm completely on board with everything you're suggesting. um Tell us a little bit about recovery though. I think this is really important, especially when we, those levels of stress, whatever it is it is really important to take that time out too.
Yeah, that's the last bit of the package. After movement and nutrition, it's recovery. And this one is, I find, the area which the people struggle the most, because they feel guilty to take a break. They literally feel guilty to go have a rest. They just want to work, 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 and to have more done. And exactly opposite is true. When you take a break, it's same as with this exercise, you will be more productive later. So what, again, I recommend to my clients, first of all, the most important is sleeping. Yeah, so you need to have a proper sleep. That's the most important and best recovery for your body, because when you sleep, everything recovers, your muscle, your cells, your brain. So it's important to sleep. And now it's like 7.5 hours is ideal. Less is not too good. Much more, again, it can make you tired. So ideally around those between 7 to 8 hours to sleep. So that's the main one. And then exactly as we do the exercise breaks, we do relaxing breaks. So what with clients, we take the diary again. We check how the diary is busy and scheduled. And in between the blocks of work, we schedule the rest time. And in this rest time, again, they can choose the activity which they enjoy. That's the most important thing. Do something what you love doing. Sometimes you can read a book, sometimes you can have a cup of coffee or tea and just sit outside and drink it, or call a friend, speak with somebody on the phone, or have a bath if you have a longer break. And then, except of these daily tasks, which you need to include daily so they are consistent, we plan the longer breaks as well. For example, weekly, you have one longer break, which takes about an hour. And this is, for example, the one when you go and have your bath, you read in your bathtub with the Epsom salts and essential oils. So it's making you, again, so much more energetic. So short and longer breaks, both of them are important, same as your exercise breaks. And with the recovery, you are working on your mindset as well, which is really important, because when you are developing yourself as a person, when you read, when you recover, when you allow yourself time for everything, you will become more efficient, and you will find out at the end that actually you have enough time for everything, that you are not that overwhelmed and busy, but suddenly you created space for new options, for new possibilities in your life, which is brilliant when you get to that stage.
Absolutely. And I think it's, when everyone's looking at growing and scaling their business, we have to have that time to allow us to think about how we're going to do that. When we're so busy working in our business all the time, that's all well and good, but actually that's not going to be the thing that actually allows you to grow and scale. So having all of these habits in place that gives you that time, that gives you that strength, that gives you that energy to really think about what it is and where you want to go within your business is really important. And that all comes from prioritizing you. And I think, as we were talking about earlier, that's something that people quite often miss, because they're so focused on that next thing that actually looking after you will help you get to that next thing quicker. And I think that's a really interesting take on it. So much advice. I feel like we've covered so many different things in such a short space of time, and it's really, really helpful just to get people to think about things. I suppose, if people are still listening to this and going, okay, I know all of this, but I still feel like I don't have enough time, what would you recommend them to do? Because it's always the one thing that I hear is that time is always that kind of limiting factor for people. what would you, how long in each day of every day would you recommend people schedule into their diary just to focus on one of these things as a
Yeah,
starting point, I suppose?
yeah, literally the best thing what you said is just start. Yeah, don't put it on next day or day after. Just start and schedule it. Really schedule it in like your business meeting, like your working time when you have to be in the office. Schedule it in. And into your brain, just put thing inside. It's gonna only take me 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It's not gonna take such a long time. It's very short. And suddenly, when you start really doing them and you are committed and you agreed, make an agreement with yourself that, yes, I'm going to test it for a week. Imagine 7 days that you are testing this for 7 days. And when you schedule it, then check as well if you have done it. Not that it's only in your diary, but really do it. And then come back after 7 days and see what happened. See how you feel it, what is different, if it made a change, if it made difference. And then the second thing is that habit, what I was talking about, always connected with something what you already do. For example, in the morning, you go and brush your teeth, so you can do 10 squats with your brushing of your teeth. Yeah. If you make it like this, it will always be there. You will never forget. The next really good thing is you are waiting for your tea or coffee, you are waiting for your water to boil. You have a couple of seconds, yeah, or maybe up to a minute. Again, you can hit something in, you can do some stretches, or again, another squats, another lunges or anything. And that's how you will suddenly accumulate everything. And for diet and nutrition, just go with the better option all the time. Always think what's better for me, what will feed me better. As Sarah mentioned, do your batch cooking, which is amazing because you just take your container from the fridge, you just warm it up and you can go. Be ready, be prepared. That's another thing. And with the rest, just don't be guilty. Take it, really, take it.
Yeah.
Push yourself and see what's going to happen. Suddenly, after a couple of days, normally it takes good 21 days to create a habit. For some people, it takes a little bit longer, but up to 60, you must feel a difference. And normally people feel it after 7 days. If you haven't done anything like this in first 7 days, you should feel a small shift.
Amazing. So many good pieces of advice in here. Where can people find you, Andrea, if they want to connect or ask you any questions and kind of delve in a little bit deeper from what we've been talking about today?
I'm everywhere on Facebook or Instagram, everywhere my name. So if you just put my name, Andrea Rohonova, into the search, I'm sure you will find me. And special thing, if you want to read a little bit more, I have a special checklist prepared about all these areas what we were mentioned, and it's called like Optimum Strength and Energy Checklist. So it's many things, you can go deeper into them because today we just catch the edges.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, where can people download that from?
Shall I give you the link or?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's available on your socials, and we'll make sure the link goes into the show notes.
It's in my bio on Instagram,
Okay.
but we can add it into the podcast if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Oh, Andrea, it's been amazing to chat to you. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Healthy Business Podcast. Hopefully, for those of you listening, it's given you a few bits of thought or some light bulb moments, or even just that realization that actually even just some really small, simple tweaks to your everyday can have a huge impact on your strength, your energy, your motivation, your productivity, your efficiency and effectiveness in growing and scaling your business. And for me, that's what it's all about. You want to enjoy life, you want to enjoy your business. So if we can make those small changes, then you're absolutely going to be able to do that. So thank you for listening today on the Healthy Business Podcast. I will see you on the next episode. This is Sarah Cook. Thanks for listening to the Healthy Business Podcast. To get your free checklist with 1-minute hacks to accelerate your business and find out more about our community, head to my website, sarahcookmarketing.com/healthy business.